You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. LSU is creeping towards spring football. And Shea Dixon had this report earlier today that wide receiver Aaron Anderson is going to miss spring football. He's working back to full strength following a knee injury. So if you don't remember, just real quick refresher on Aaron Anderson. He was a top 100 overall prospect in the country from Edna Carr in New Orleans, was an LSU commit. When Ed Ogeron got fired, he decommitted, ended up signing with Alabama, was there this year, injured his knee, didn't play, so sidelined during his freshman season, and was the number 36 overall player in the country, the number 4 receiver in the country when he signed with Bama, entered the transfer portal, signed with LSU. He's continued to rehab that knee and work back toward full health and being able to play, but he's going to miss spring football. So I'm good with that, honestly. Obviously. Look, you would love to have guys be able to go through spring. You would love to have them get reps, especially the new guys, to get reps with Jaden Daniels, develop timing, all of that, of course. But it's just way more important for him to be healthy and ready to go in the spring. Like, for example, look at Shelton Sampson. Shelton Sampson's a 5-star receiver who, because he goes to Catholic, they don't allow any of their students to graduate early. So Shelton Sampson isn't going to be able to be here until the summer. So he'll go through summer workouts, and then whenever fall camp starts, he'll start, just like Aaron Anderson will now do. So, I don't worry about it so much. That transition will happen for those guys at whatever rate it needs to happen. I'd more so look at the receiver spot for LSU. It kind of gave me a good excuse to look at the receivers and sort of assess that, considering you're losing Kayshon Boutte, who, as much as we might look and say he had a disappointing junior year, and I understand that, given the expectations. Coming off the injury and what we had all hoped. Kayshon was still your second leading receiver. 48 catches for 538 yards. I mean, that is a really solid season for a number 2. It's just we had larger expectations. So you've got to replace Kayshon's production. Jure Jenkins had 27 catches for 404 yards, so he was your third leading receiver. And then Jack Besh, who Jack battled some injuries and playing and just all the stuff that we know how it went this year, and he transferred. Jack had 16 catches for 200 yards. So you're replacing 3 really productive guys, talented, productive players. But you return Malik Neighbors, who was your leading receiver a year ago, had 1,000 yards. And then Brian Thomas and Kyron Lacey, who were your 4th and 5th leading receivers. Again, not pass catchers. I'm not talking about pass catchers because Mason Taylor was 3rd. And, you had Josh Williams, who was in the mix as well. I'm talking about at the wide receiver position. So you went Malik Neighbors, Kayshon Boutte, Jure Jenkins, Brian Thomas, Kyron Lacey, Jack Besh. That was your top 6 receivers. Well, number 1 is back, but you lose 2 and 3, and you have 4 and 5 back. So, and you lose 6. So the thought is, okay, is it realistic to think Brian Thomas as a junior could step up and replace Kayshon's production? I know they play a different position, different skill set, but Brian Thomas at 31 for 361. Is it realistic to think Brian Thomas could go from 31 catches to 48 catches? Yeah, of course. With the targets and all there. So Brian Thomas steps up and replaces Kayshon's production. Is it realistic to think Kyron Lacey, who had 24 catches for 268, could replace Jure Jenkins, who was at 27 for 404? Yeah, I mean, he's basically there as far as the number of receptions anyway. Just talking about receiving yards. So, I mean, there you've got 3 really good receivers, but what we've seen, and Mason Taylor is back, and you're going to work in the running backs well. But really the question is, what about in Brian Kelly's offense and Mike Denbrock's offense? Who are going to be 4, 5, and 6? You feel really good about your first 3 receivers. You feel good about Neighbors and Thomas and Kyron Lacey. Who emerges as 4, 5, and 6? Who situationally becomes your deep threat? Who becomes the guy that takes pressure off of Kyron Lacey, or off of Malik Neighbors? And that's where I'm interested in seeing the guys in spring. Chris Hilton coming off of injury. He's got game-breaking ability. He's got the speed. Coming off of injury, how does he do? Aaron Anderson's in that mold as well. Not going to participate in spring. Landon Ibieta is a guy who was injured all of last year. We didn't really see him to the bowl game. He had a couple of catches in the bowl game. They're very optimistic on Landon Ibieta. And then the guys who are coming in, Jaylen Brown, Shelton Sampson, who we mentioned, Kyle Parker, Kai Preon. There's Aaron Anderson. You got a good group of guys to see who is going to step up and emerge. Some who have been here. I mentioned Hilton and Ibieta. Some who are coming in, if it's Anderson or Shelton Sampson or Jaylen Brown, the guys who are most likely to take that. But that's going to be one of the really exciting things to watch in this offense. You got your quarterback returning. You got your offensive line returning. You've got your starting tight end returning. You've got your best receiver back. You've got all of your running backs returning as well. Who are going to be the supplemental pieces in that offense at receiver that step up? And that's going to be fun to watch during spring and then also throughout fall camp as well, to see who those guys are that are going to take some of those targets and help LSU develop that depth at the receiver position. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.